Is flex pipe necessary? Well, that's a hell of a question. This question comes up a lot from people who are about to install the Speed Culture Studios custom catback system. Check that video out if you have any interest in installing that setup whatsoever. But this information holds true to anybody installing any type of custom exhaust system. I'd say most factory exhaust systems these days have at least a small section of flex pipe in them, and they do it for a number of reasons, and important reasons at that. But it doesn't mean that flex pipe is necessarily necessary. But don't be too hasty. Don't go eliminating flex pipe or foregoing flex pipe on your custom exhaust system, because there are some really important things to take into consideration. I think it's a pretty commonly shared sentiment that flex pipe sucks. People hate it. It can sort of corrode away, especially if you live in northern climates, and ultimately lead to leaks and weird exhaust noises, rattles, things of that nature. So people hate it. People hate it. And also, if you're constructing a custom exhaust system, people like to forgo the flex pipe portion because it can be an added $40 to $60 or more dollars, and that's something to take into consideration when you're trying to create an exhaust system on a budget, right? Now, I know I said you don't necessarily need flex pipe, but I want to talk a little bit first about why it's in these systems in the first place. So unless you have solid motor mounts, you guys know that the engine twists a little bit as you depress the accelerator. You can put the car in park, for example, and take a look at the engine under the hood. As you rev the engine, it will flex and twist. So the reason that flex pipe is put into these systems is to absorb a little bit of that flex, a little bit of that vibration, not only to prevent potential cracking or separation at joints, but also to prevent pressure being put on your manifold bolts, for example, where they mount your cylinder heads. You don't want those to be loose and create exhaust leaks, so flex pipe is put in the system to eliminate that potential or reduce that potential. So nothing too crazy or scientific, right? But car manufacturers want to make your ride as comfortable and as pleasant as possible. That's the reason they use soft diff bushings and soft trans mounts and soft motor mounts to absorb any of that NVH, the noise, vibration, and harshness of the chassis, right? So it's pretty obvious, pretty self-explanatory as to why you would put flex pipe in the exhaust systems from the factory. Now, why I recommend using flex pipe in the Speed Culture Studios custom catback system, for example, or any aftermarket or any custom exhaust system, is the same reason. We worry a little bit less about it in our customized cars, especially if we're using poly motor mounts or solid motor mounts, for example, where there really isn't any flex, but we're not worried about vibration and harshness as we drive. But in the Q50, in my Q50, it was a daily driver, and I would spend a lot of time in that car. And what I was noticing when I first installed my catback system with no flex pipe, because I'm one of you, I'm with you. I hate flex pipe. It's a potential for leaks. Can't stand it. It wears out, and I just don't like it. So I wanted to do the system without flex pipe initially, and when I did, however, it's fine when I was driving. It's fine when I was driving, but I noticed, like, sitting in traffic, or if I was sitting in my car at lunchtime, for example, and the AC kicked on, I could feel a lot more vibration in the cabin under my seat, and that was caused, of course, because the engine is working a little bit harder. The RPM drops or changes, and that causes a little bit of vibration in the system, which is transferred through the exhaust system because there's no flex pipe to absorb it. So I was just feeling a little bit of additional vibration, and I didn't like it. At the time I installed my custom catback system, the Q50 was only a few years old, right? So I wasn't necessarily worried about manifold bolts coming loose or cracks happening at weld points or anything like that, just because there wasn't a lot of excessive flex in the engine. The motor mounts were still in good shape. But as you put more miles on your car and the years go by in your vehicle, those motor mounts start to get a little bit soft, and that's when you get that excessive flex. And that's going to be transferred throughout your entire exhaust system, from the manifold bolts at the cylinder heads all the way back. So it's something you definitely want to keep in mind. From a comfort standpoint alone, I would definitely recommend installing flex pipe. I understand why you don't want to do it, but it's certainly going to play a key factor in mitigating the risk of both bolts, exhaust system bolts coming loose, breaks at the flange where your weld points are, and reducing the vibration being transferred through the cabin, because that flex pipe is absorbing both the vibration of the engine itself, but also absorbing the flex as you accelerate down the highway or from stop signs or stop lights, or you accelerate racing another enthusiast on the road or at the track, not on the road, at the track. But the more load you put on that engine, the more strain you put on the engine, the more it's going to twist and flex, and that flex is going to be transferred to your exhaust system. And if you don't have the flex pipe in place, there's a chance that those bolts are going to come loose, or you're going to potentially break something at a weld point. And that's, like I said, that's something you want to take into consideration. So I would recommend it. Is it necessarily necessary? No, not necessary. Not necessarily necessary. But you should do it. You should do it. There's a lot of people out there that run exhaust systems with no flex pipe and they don't complain about anything. And you very well might not run into any issues whatsoever. But like I said, it's a mitigating factor and it's something to just think about. It's there. It's an option. I'll put the link in the description below to my exhaust video, but that is a very commonly asked question about my exhaust system specifically. Do I need the flex pipes? Well, no, again, you don't. You don't necessarily need them, but I got them linked for a reason, because it's just my recommendation. My personal experience, from a comfort standpoint, a little bit too much vibration for my liking, so I put the flex pipes in line in the system. And that's the other question. Where do I put the flex pipe? Well, you put the flex pipes where they are from the factory. If you take a look at your factory Y pipe, there's flex pipe right at the flange where it connects to your factory cats. In the custom Catback system, you would put it in the same location. Right after the flange, after you're connecting to your factory cats, are test pipes. There's a little short section of straight pipe where you could fit those flex pipes in there. My recommendation is stay at right about 6 inches. Don't go bigger than that. There's 4-inch flex pipe available. I think they might even have 2-inch, which is 4 inches overall, but the flex pipe itself is about 2 inches. That's getting a little bit small. It's not going to absorb all that much flex, especially with your vehicle getting a little bit older. 4 inches is probably good. 6 inches is decent, but I wouldn't go bigger than that. Then it just gets a little bit too sloppy for my liking. If you guys have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. Again, check out my exhaust video for details. It's all right there. Just search Speed Culture Catback. Literally search anything you want to find out about my Q50. Speed Culture suspension, Speed Culture wheels, Speed Culture exhaust, Speed Culture intakes. It's going to come up. It's going to come up. But if you do have any questions that weren't addressed in this video, leave them in the comments below. If you have any questions, let me know that you want any questions whatsoever that you want to know about anything, leave them down below and I might make a video dedicated to it. But thank you guys very much for watching. I appreciate the continued support on this channel. Onward and upward for Speed Culture Studios. And of course, onward and upward for you guys. Wish nothing but the best for everybody watching. Thank you for watching this one. We'll be back in another one. Stay tuned. See you next time.